What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Junkyard. I am your host, Junkyard James, and we are just mere days to the hour away from the beginning of AEW All In London. Live at noon, starting at noon is the 0 hour. Live in London, noon on Sunday. The main card starts at 1 p.m. our time here, Eastern Time. It's going to be a big show, I think. They're dubbing it the biggest show in wrestling history, and it may just be that. Today I want to just kind of go through my thoughts leading up to the show, the build up to the show, and then we'll go through the card here match by match and kind of discuss my thought process, maybe not winner or loser, but my thought process going on with the match going on here. Like I said, this is the Junkyard. We're live on the Junkyard Media Group Facebook and YouTube page. Welcome to the Junkyard. And before we get going into deep here with the content on today's show, I just want to lay it out. Put some comments in the chat. You may be shown on the show, and I'll answer questions or comments that are on each other's minds going into All In. What are your thoughts on All In, etc., etc. I also want to make a quick shout out to the show going on tonight at 9 p.m. here on the Junkyard Media Group's Facebook and YouTube page as well. We're going live. It is the Calling Audibles podcast. We're talking preseason. Is it worth it? Is it not? Here's a quick shout out to the Calling Audibles podcast. Like I said, tune in tonight, 9 p.m. live, same channel, same Facebook page that you are watching this on. Let's get going. Let's talk about some wrestling. Let's talk about All In. Like I said, they're dubbing this the biggest wrestling event in history. It is the first time AEW has crossed the Atlantic and gone into Europe. They're in London, England at Wembley Stadium, and it is a big card. Both metaphorically and literally. Let's pull up the card here. I'm going to go small here. We're going to pull up the card. 11 matches, including the pre-show. Let's break them down one by one. On the pre-show, or 0 hour, I think is what they're calling it, Aussie Open defends the ROH Tag Team Champions against MJF and Adam Cole. And what a run MJF and Adam Cole are having, both as a tag team and leading to eventually the main event of the show tonight, or not tonight, Sunday night. I think in this 0 hour match, we're going to get some build up to a potential turn in the main event. My heart wants MJF and Adam Cole to win. I just don't see how they do it. I don't see how AEW long-term can book them to win an ROH title, which would essentially force them on every single show that AEW produces. And here's one thing. I want the ROH competitors to stay off of AEW television and vice versa. I'm cool with these one-offs on pay-per-views. I'm not a big fan of people that are supposed to be on ROH showing up in AEW and people that are supposed to be in AEW showing up in ROH. And it's vice versa. You see WWE doing it as well with people that are main roster superstars, Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day, Dom, possibly Becky Lynch at this point, going down into NXT, I guess for a quick ratings bump, possibly. I just don't like people that are established on one brand or one show showing up and having storyline connections on a show that they're not super established in just to pull them out in a couple weeks. And so that's my thing there. I think Aussie Open wins. It builds the feud for the main event. There's a little bit of contention between the two, and we'll see what goes on. Also on the 0 hour pre-show, we have the FTW Championship match, Jack Perry versus Hook. Jack Perry says he's going to retire the FTW Championship. I think Taz may get involved. I don't think he's going to do commentary for 0 hour. I think Taz may get involved in this match in some shape or form. I think maybe Perry will retain the title, but I think Taz will have some interference. I don't know if he'll be in the ring with Perry and Hook, but he's going to have some play. In the way that they've built this story, Taz has played an integral part with his reactions. So I think he'll get involved in some way, shape, or form in the buy-in match there, Jack Perry versus Hook. My thought process is that Hook actually will take the belt from Perry. But we'll see. We'll see there. We get to the main card, and I don't know if this is the order or this is the announced order or what this is, that the site that I have, Wikipedia has it pulled up. But I'm just going to go down the order here. And FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This might be match of the night. This might give Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay a contender for match of the year. Anytime the Bucks and FTR get in the ring together, they put on classic matches. FTR is probably the best tag team in the world, taking that reign from the Bucks. We'll have to see how this match goes on. I like to think that this builds into next week at All Out with a man that we see later on in the show being CM Punk. Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, this is the perfect way to start a feud where you have the Elite fight FTR and CM Punk and use what you may believe to be legitimate heat as storyline going forward. I like FTR retaining. I don't think the Young Bucks need the title at this point. And again, I think long-term storytelling tells me this may be just a match that they're going to have a really good banger of a match that leads with some form of CM Punk interference. And but we'll have to see. I'm going to give FTR the win. Next match on this card, Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm versus Saraya versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD. Dr. Britt Baker DMD. In a four-way match for the AEW Women's Championship. And I don't know if you can just look at this card and see this with the naked eye. I can. This is the only women's match on the entire goddamn show. And it's so frustrating. Because where's Willow? Where's Sky Blue? Where's Ruby Soho? Where are the other women? And this is my complaint when this whole thing was starting to build this four-way, is now we have the same four women who take all the time, pay-per-view after pay-per-view, pay-per-view after pay-per-view, and they are the only 4 women on the card. This is a little bit frustrating for me, and I hope maybe this is being recorded live on a Thursday, so maybe Friday on Rampage or Saturday during Collision, they'll announce another women's match. I'm not holding my breath. It's so damn infuriating because you have a locker room of women that, quite frankly, could fill this card with better matches than what we're going to get. You're not telling me Sky Blue and Anna Jay and Willow Nightingale, Ruby Soho, Thunder Rosa if she's healthy, Allie, Penelope Ford. The list goes on and on and on and on. Chris Statlander, she's not defending her TBS title. Where is the TBS title? You're not telling me that they can't have a match on what you're dubbing the biggest pay-per-view, the biggest show in wrestling history. There's one women's match on the show. And now the people in the casual fan base or whatnot, they may say, well, that's just because women's wrestling doesn't sell as much as the men. And the reason it doesn't sell, and then this might be a hot take, but the reason women's wrestling maybe historically hasn't sold is because of shit like this where they're not even put on the card. How can they sell if you only have one match? And it's the same for women that are in the world title picture from the last pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view after that, and the pay-per-view after that. I want to see some fresh blood in the women's division. I don't want to see... I love Britt Baker. I think she actually could win this so that when Hayter returns at the beginning of next year, we can finally have the heel turn we've all been waiting for. Jamie Hayter versus Britt Baker. They can then feud. I'd be okay with that as a temporary placeholder to get fresh blood in. I don't want to see Toni Storm hold the belt again. I don't want to see Hikaru Shida, as much as I like Hikaru Shida, hold the belt. I don't think Saraya is proven herself in the ring to be a championship contender. There's no one here that I really think, they'll really build the ratings for the women's division outside of Britt Baker, who's done it before. The women's division, when Britt Baker was champion, the ratings were pretty good. She had good feuds with people. So I think Britt Baker wins. That's my hope. But it's just so damn infuriating. We get one women's match on this entire card. The main card has 9 matches on it, and we find time for one match for the women's division when we have a locker room of talented women. Anna, like I just named them, Anna Jay, Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale. As much as I'm not a super fan of her, but Mercedes Martinez. We're going to put ROH people in here. Where's Athena? Where's, Layla Hirsch returned? Why can't she be on the pre-show and expose her to the people that don't watch ROH? It's just infuriating. We have a locker room of women. The women's division gets booked like shit, and it's just so infuriating. And Tony Khan, listen to me. I'm going to stare right into this goddamn camera right now. Tony Khan, listen to me. You need to do better. This is your one downfall. I support you on a lot of things, Tony. I support you on a lot of things. You need to book this goddamn women's division better. People complain that they don't book, that they don't sell, they don't get good enough ratings, but they don't get the opportunity to sell the ratings. So Tony Khan, you need to do a better fucking job. Book the women's division the way that it should be, because we have the best women's division in the entire industry. You just don't book them well enough. So Tony Khan, book the women's division better, please. The next match is a match I think we could cancel out. And I love Darby Allin. I love Sting. I love Swerve. And now all of a sudden we're putting Christian Cage in this match for, I think, one reason and one reason alone. And we'll get to that here in a second. But do we need this match? Even when AR Fox was the person on Swerve's team in the coffin match, was this match necessary? Does this build anything? Swerve Strickland can gain no momentum from this. They keep pulling tag teams apart with Swerve Strickland in it. It started with Swerve in Your Glory. Great tag team. I don't know why they had to break them up. They had a lot of momentum going. They could have had a rematch clause with the Acclaimed, but they broke Swerve and Keith Lee up, and they both lost momentum as a result. You try to put Swerve in stable after stable after stable, and the best one that happened, AR Fox and Swerve Strickland, they pull the rug from under their feet too early, in my opinion, and now we're putting Christian Cage in a match against Darby and Sting. I think there's two reasons. Christian Cage is going to start a feud with Nick Wayne. We saw the promo last night where he mentioned Buddy, and he's going to do the Jack Perry storyline with Nick Wayne, and it's going to get old. And I understand what's going on now. This could be Christian's thing, is he's just going to go after the superstars of former wrestlers or former actors who their dad is dead, and now they're just alone with no father figure. And Christian Cage can be that father figure. And when you decline the opportunity, he's going to, try to obliterate you. And Christian ends up losing like he does with Jungle Boy. I get the idea. The last time Christian Cage was in a coffin match, he took the fall and fell straight through to hell, it felt like. I think the second reason Christian Cage gets added to this match, and this is something maybe people aren't considering, we're going to see the debut of Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, I think. And wouldn't that be something? Adam Copeland comes in, reunites with his buddy Christian. I don't know. Edge made a video last night or this morning saying that he has to think on it. He has a contract extension in his inbox from the WWE, but he just needs to. To me, it just seems like he's playing the kayfabe. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just got to sit on it. The way that I went out in WWE, I don't think I could have gone out any better in Toronto, blah, blah, blah. No, there's a way that you go out better, and that's in London, England, in the biggest crowd in history of AEW, the biggest single-day ticket sale show since WrestleMania 30. That's how you go out. You make your debut in AEW. You have a 6-month reign until Christian's contract with AEW ends. Christian can then leave with Adam Copeland. Christian can get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame with the tag team Edge and Christian. They both get WWE Legends deals, and then they can just disappear into the sunset and do their Edge and Peep For the Peep Show podcast that they used to do on the WWE Network. And they don't have to wrestle again because they're both getting up there in age. I think both of them should consider hanging up the boots here soon. I wonder what the point of this is. I think we're going to see Edge. I can't confirm it. The match is official. I think Darby and Sting are the winners here. There's with the late change to Christian Cage, it doesn't make sense for Christian and Swerve to tag team, and it doesn't make sense for them to win. I got Darby and Sting winning this one. Next, we got a 6-man tag team match. The Golden Elite of Kota Ibushi, Omega, and Adam Hangman Page versus Konosuke Takeshita and Juice Robinson and Jay White. I love this match. I think this is going to be a great match. there's a lot of story behind it. Not only, I would say, the New Japan factor, 2 former Bullet Club factions, Omega's Bullet Club and Jay White's Bullet Club. You could say there's contention with Omega and Takeshita. I like the match. I'm gonna have the Golden Elite win, just because I don't think Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold need the win to build themselves. I do think the Golden Elite need a win to continue their momentum after their Blood and Guts match. I think it was Blood and Guts, yeah. When they beat the Blackpool Combat Club. Speaking of the Blackpool Combat Club, like these middle card matches, some of them I get the purpose, but like I'm just not super interested. I love Kenny Omega. I love Ibushi. I love Paige. I love Jay White. I love Juice. Takeshita's pretty interesting. It's just not a match that I would want on the card of the biggest pay-per-view event that AEW has shown. I want Omega fighting Will Ospreay again. I want Hangman fighting a singles match. You know, I want Ibushi fighting someone in New Japan to continue a story there to lead to like Wrestle Kingdom next January. Bullet Club Gold should be fighting for championships and not in a worthless kind of throwaway trios match. Takeshita should be fighting for the TNT title or, you know, another championship somewhere else, maybe the ROH Pure title. Like, again, the pay-per-views are the best way for you to get the ROH talent in there. I think Takeshita fighting for the ROH Pure Championship would actually be pretty decent. I don't know. The next match, I get the purpose. Stadium Stampede match. What's the purpose behind it? They're releasing the Stadium Stampede mode in their video game. Perfect way to put a match in to build and advertise for a product that you're selling. We get Eddie Kingston and Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, and Penta El Cero Miedo coming off again, or fighting Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and the returning Mike Santana and Ortiz. This is going to be one hell of a match. There's a lot of intermingling of storylines here. Kingston friends with Moxley and Santana and Ortiz, but hates Castagnoli, going against Yuta. The throwaway of Rey Fenix getting hit in the head with that crowbar because of, you know, outside of the wrestling world issues with visas and things, with Phoenix making him unable to come to England. They put this in story mode where Kingston has essentially told Renee that he's going to finish this with Moxley and he's going to fix the issue that Moxley did in London, meaning Kingston and Moxley going at it. That's going to be interesting. I think Kingston and Cassidy, the best friends, Penta, they're going to win this Stadium Stampede. It's going to be fun. It's in Wembley Stadium, so they have a lot of places in the entire arena where they can go and do their spots. It's going to be fun. I'm going to predict about a pint or two of blood will be lost by Jon Moxley alone. There's going to be a lot of blood in this match, I feel. I like the Stadium Stampede matches that they've done in the past. This will be another good one. I'm excited to see it, and yeah, we'll get the BCC and Santana and Ortiz a loss. I hope to see Santana and Ortiz in the tag team title picture here soon. If FTR wins, push Santana and Ortiz to be like the next biggest heel tag team. That would be fun. I think they deserved it before their hiatus. And so they definitely deserve it now. They're one of the best tag teams in the world. I follow them since they were LAX and Impact Wrestling. And I think their first trip around the sun here with AEW, they kind of missed the mark with booking them properly. I hope they do a good job this time around. Next match we got Will Ospreay. I'm glad he's on the card, but he's fighting Chris Jericho, and I would have rather had Ospreay versus Omega 3. I think that's the best match of the year so far at Forbidden Door. Ospreay and Jericho, though, I think it's going to be a good match. Like Jericho said, this match was supposed to happen in the Tokyo Dome before COVID hit the world and shocked everything. And so, with that being said, it's going to be a good match. I don't think it's going to be Will Ospreay's greatest performance, just because Jericho's limited in what he can do compared to Kenny. And I think the most interesting thing is Jericho's going to sing himself to the ring. Fozzie's going to be there live to perform the intro for Jericho. Next, we have CM Punk, because they have to put him on this card. There's no way you have this show without CM Punk on the card. You have him against Samoa Joe, which is good because their first match on Collision was too short because Punk and Joe need 30 to 40 minutes to tell the story and put on a good-ass match. This is for the quote-unquote real world champion. I think Punk wins. And I hope this sets up MJF versus Punk at some point. Not next week at All Out, but maybe at the next pay-per-view in November. Because, I don't know. Maybe I gave away my thoughts on the MJF match with that, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see here. I think Punk wins, retains this so-called real world championship, and we'll see what it comes down to at that point. House of Black. This match was announced yet last night. House of Black is going to fight the badass Billy Gunn and the acclaimed Anthony Bowens and Max Caster in a 6-man tag team match for the AEW World Trios Championship. This is a big match that I'm happy got announced. One, because Billy Gunn deserves to go out in a bigger match than just losing on a random, TV programming. He deserves to go out in a big show. Well, it's a big show. No, I'm just kidding. He deserves to go out on a big event. This is the biggest event in AEW history. So if this is Billy Gunn's final hoorah in AEW, then let it be, but let him have the time that he deserves. This is going to be a good match for the World Trios Championship. And it wouldn't shock me if House of Black took the loss here. Give the Acclaim and Billy Gunn the World Trios Championships. Get them a short run. Get them their momentum back. And I don't know. We'll see what happens on Sunday. I like this match. I'm going to go with Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed winning in an upset there, though. Man, this card is stacked. And we end with the most anticipated match of the night, MJF versus Adam Cole. Singles match for the AEW Championship. My gut is telling me MJF is going to win. He's going to pull some sort of stunt to get the win. But my heart is telling me Adam Cole is going to win by disqualification. And this is why. Roddy Strong is going to interfere. And he's going to attack Adam Cole. MJF loses but retains the belt. This is the turn. MJF and Roddy Strong are secretly in cahoots with each other. The plan was to have this happen all along. That Roddy would kind of back away from Max, act like he's hurt, let Adam get close to Max, question the friendship, act like he really cares about Adam Cole, and then stab his former friend in the back. I think that was the plan all along. That can be the story they tell. It's the biggest swerve you can throw because I think everybody thinks MJF will just cheat his way to win again. But let's throw Roddy Strong in the picture. He's kind of had weird energy in all of the clips that I've seen with him and the the Kingdom, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven. And so let's just put Roddy Strong in here as the one who's turning on Adam Cole. We get MJF to lose, but by DQ, so he holds the belt. Leading into All Out, where I think Adam Cole gets his rematch against MJF at All Out. Adam Cole will win in Chicago next week at All Out. Then Roddy Strong enters the picture, and he can be the next number one contender for the AEW Championship, fighting his former best friend, Adam Cole. I think that's a good story that you can push for several months to lead you to November. MJF then can fight CM Punk for the quote-unquote real world champion. Let Punk beat MJF, because my fear is you can't put MJF in a situation where he gets closer to this contract negotiation. I don't know if he has a deal in place or not, but at least in kayfabe he hasn't, and so we got to assume that he hasn't. You can't put yourself in the place where MJF is your champion coming into 2024, because if he hasn't signed a deal with AEW, you can't let your champion leave with the belt, or else you'll have CM Punk WWE all over again. You let MJF lose and All Out. You let him lose to CM Punk. You let him take some time off. You let him get his contract situation under wraps, unless it already has been and they're just hiding it really well. But I don't think you give us the Adam Cole MJF title change at All In. The turn is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And what's a better way to have it happen than have Roddy Strong turn on Adam Cole? You can start a feud there, let Cole get his rematch next week. You don't have enough time to build another feud for the title. So let's do Adam Cole versus MJF again. This time they're not coming in as friends. They're coming in as enemies, ready to do whatever it takes to get the title. And Cole wins. Now Cole and Roddy's feud that they could be starting is for the championship, and it has a purpose. You immediately make Adam Cole a really dominant champion. You immediately put Roddy Strong back into relevancy. And there we go. So let me take this down and get bigger for y'all again. What are my takeaways from a perspective before the show? Number one, this is a really big card that they said is going to fit with, I guess, a 5-hour time frame, 1 hour for the 0-hour buy-in, and 4 hours for the main card. I have a feeling it's going to go more like 6 hours, to be honest with you. 5-hour main card, 1 hour pre-show. There's 9 matches on the main card, which means you got to imagine the Elite get FTR and the Bucks get 45 minutes to an hour. Kenny Omega, Hangman, Bullet Club, Gold, they're going to get 35 minutes, 45 minutes. The main event's going to go at least an hour. The Stadium Stampede match is going to go 30, 45 minutes. We're already catching 4 hours there. So if you're going to hit a 4-hour time frame, the women's match is going short. The Acclaimed match is going short. The Coffin match is going really short. if it's 4 hours. I'm thinking it's more of a 5-hour pay-per-view. There's no way they fit 9 matches in a 4-hour card. I think it's going 5 hours plus the 1 hour pre-show. We're gonna be there till about 6 o'clock our time. I have that feeling. Maybe AEW will surprise me. My biggest takeaway from this is my just greatest disappointment that the women's division gets one damn match. They're going to get, 20 minutes on the whole goddamn card? This is the biggest match of the year. This is the biggest match. This is the biggest event in your company's history. And you put one women's match on the show? I didn't mention some of the people, Nyla Rose, Marina Shafir. Women that have busted their ass and they don't get a place on the card. You could have at least put some sort of women's battle royal or something in there so that you can build a bench for people past Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter and Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm and Saraya to be in your championship scene. But I already made my peace with that, right? I was already on my high horse with that. Hopped off my soapbox. I think overall it's going to be a really good show. Here's another thing I'm pissed off at. The fact that they're going to put 2 pay-per-views back-to-back and charge $50 for each one. Tony Khan, we're not made of fucking money around here. I don't know if you know, but inflation's at an all-time high and the cost of living's high and, your core fan base, is trying to save a little bit of money, I feel like. But I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think about the show? Let me know in the comments. But as of now, this has been another episode of The Junkyard. Tune in tonight, 9 p.m. for the Calling Audibles podcast. We'll see y'all then. Thanks, y'all.